All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a discovery that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's very real. It's all about a single gene that could completely change how we grow our food.
So it all starts with a really simple but kind of huge question. What if plants could just grow more with less? What if we could get crops to produce more grain, the part we actually eat, using fewer resources like fertilizer? It's one of the biggest puzzles in agriculture today.
Okay, so before we get to the amazing solution, you gotta understand the problem these plants are up against. And for something like rice, it's all about how it reacts when it's under stress.
So what you're seeing here is a plant's survival instinct kicking into overdrive. On the right, everything's great. Plenty of nitrogen, balanced growth. But look at the left. When that nitrogen is scarce, the plant just freaks out. It makes this wild bet and pours all its energy into building a massive root system, desperately searching for any nutrients it can find.
Yeah, you can literally think of it as the plant going into panic mode. It's so focused on root growth that it forgets about everything else. The shoots, the leaves, and most importantly for us, the grain we actually eat. All of that gets neglected. It's just super inefficient.
And look, this isn't just some abstract problem for a plant. It's a huge deal for farmers, right? It means lower yields. So what have we been doing? We dump tons of nitrogen fertilizer on our fields. But that's not only expensive, it's also really bad for the environment. Clearly, we need a smarter way to do this.
And this is where the science gets really cool. See, researchers had this idea. What if they could just tell the plant to, chill out, to turn off that panic response? They just needed to find the genetic master switch.
So they basically went on a genetic treasure hunt. They started digging through the entire rice genome, looking for that one single gene, that one piece of code that was acting like the conductor of the orchestra, telling the whole plant how to respond to nitrogen.
And where they found it? Totally unexpected. The hero of this story is a gene called OSWRI1A. And get this, before this study, scientists thought its only job was to help make oil in seeds. That's it. Nobody had a clue it was secretly the CEO of the whole growth operation.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how can one little gene do so much? Well, it turns out OWRI1A is an expert multitasker. It's basically working two very different, very important jobs at the same time.
Yeah, the perfect way to think about this gene is as the plant's growth coordinator. It's like the manager of a factory, right? It's sending out these super smart, perfectly timed instructions to two totally different departments, the shoots up top and the roots down below.
All right, so job number one, this happens up in the shoot. When our gene OSWRI1A gets activated, it flips on another gene called NGR5. And NGR5 has one simple mission: tell the plant to grow more branches, or tillers. And why do we care? Well, more tillers means more grains of rice, more food. Boom, simple as that.
Now, job number two, down in the roots, is a little more clever, a little more sneaky. What it does is it gets in the way of these two proteins that normally act like the brakes for root growth. By messing with them, it lets this growth hormone called auxin build up. But here's the key. It's just enough to promote healthy, efficient roots, not so much that the roots go haywire and start that crazy panic growth.
So, on paper, this was genius. One gene creating perfectly balanced growth. But, theories are one thing. Would it actually work in a real plant? Time to find out.
So what the researchers did was pretty clever. They found that some rice varieties already had a naturally superior version of this gene. So they took this elite version and put it into a standard, everyday rice plant to see what would happen. And wow, the results were, well, just look. It was so dramatic. On the left, you've got your standard rice plant. On the right, the one with the superior gene. I mean, the difference is just incredible. It's bigger, it's fuller, it just looks so much healthier. But here's the really important part. Take a look at the roots. The roots on the right, from that superior plant, they're not huge and overgrown. They're not in panic mode. They're just healthy and efficient, perfectly matching the amazing growth we see up top. This is that balanced, coordinated growth in action.
Okay, so it looks great, but what about the actual harvest? What does this mean for our food supply? This chart tells the whole story. The rice with that superior gene, look at that bar. It produced way more grain per plant. It's not just a prettier plant, it is a seriously more productive one.
And this is the mind-blowing part. These plants gave us a higher yield even when they got less fertilizer. They were just that much better at using what they had. That's a total game changer.
So this isn't just some neat little experiment. This discovery could literally open up a whole new way of thinking about sustainable agriculture. So let's break down why this really matters to all of us. First, it means we could use way less of those fertilizers that pollute our water. Second, it could mean growing more food on the exact same amount of land we use now, which is a huge deal for feeding a growing planet. And finally, it gives us a blueprint for making crops that are tougher, more resilient, and can handle less than perfect conditions. And it just leaves you with this amazing question, right? We always think these huge global problems need these incredibly complex solutions. But maybe, just maybe, the key to a sustainable future for farming is hidden in the elegant, powerful code of a single amazing gene.